Welcome back to another episode of Elevated Dialogue on the Uncle Junior Network. I am your host, the Uncle Junior. My co-hosts are Antoine, the other artist Christopher, and Vic, the code Vizion. Back again to grace us with their presence are Coach Dwayne Dwyer and EJ from EJ's Gym. The questions at the bottom of the screen, we're going to already jump right into it with Vic. So let's roll, brother. What you think about this topic, this first question?
I think you got to read the room and know your environment and know where you fit at in your environment. You know what I'm saying? That's first and foremost. Because sometimes you can put on the wrong thing, you look like you're wearing a costume. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference between looking out of place, overdressed, and then looking like you got on a costume. You know, so you don't ever want to look like an actor. You know what I'm saying? You want to look like what you are. You know what I'm saying? Currently working on. You know what I'm saying? Like you wouldn't trust a mechanic wearing scrubs.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that the environment dictates the way you display yourself.
Does it matter if they're in their 20s, their 30s, their 40s, or anything like that? Because I know sometimes people they'll tell older guys like, dude, why are you still dressing like that? You look like, you 14. And you hear it in social media and on the news too. You're saying, people should look, if I'm 40, I'm supposed to look like a 40-year-old. You know what I'm saying?
Afford. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm 43 years old. I still wear a couple of chains, you know what I'm saying? Some sweats, a t-shirt, but I got my own bag, you know what I'm saying? So I move a certain type of way, and it depends on who you're trying to affect. You got to understand your market, like you don't see Rolls Royce advertising nothing, you know what I'm saying? So it's because they know their market. But like if you got a Kia or something like that, you're gonna have an environment that reflects purchasing a Kia.
Mm-hmm.
What
you got, Coach?
You said you got your own bag. Help me out. I'm a little slow.
Well, so the phrase being have my own bag, meaning that I dictate my own, you know what I'm saying, rhythm, my own pace. You know what I'm saying? I run my own business, so I'm not dependent on somebody else opening the door for me to go in and clock in. You know what I'm saying? So I make the moves that's, you know what I'm saying, that's conducive to what I'm doing. If I want to get up and come wear a t-shirt, sweats, or whatever attire I choose, you know what I'm saying, it doesn't change who I am, you know what I'm saying, in terms of being the owner. But like if I had to go somewhere other place and an environment required me to put on a suit, I don't have a problem doing that either, because when in Rome, you do as the Romans, you know what I'm saying? For lack of better phrases. It's not from flipping over tables and overtaxing people. But you know how it goes.
I like where you're going with that. And first of all, I appreciate you clearing up my misunderstanding. I need you guys to make me smart, man. That's really why that's why I hang out with y'all. But I kind of I want to I want to kind of change the perception here because I love this question, right? Because is there a certain image that a man should have between as they move between the stages of life? I believe, wholeheartedly speaking, it's that person's image of themselves that allows them to easily transition through those stages of life. Case in point, we talked about, and I think last week we talked about the whole child support thing, right? And one of the things I kind of put out there is that every child needs both their mother and their father, right? Neither one of them can replace the other. And so our mothers and our fathers help us to have a better image of who we really are. That image gives us permission to move through the stages of life in a more confident manner. When one of them are missing in our life, what ends up happening is that we are seeking to fill in the blanks with that question in the back of our mind. Even if you want to go to the biblical terms, right? In the biblical terms, especially in the Old Testament, you will see that those young men would go to their father looking for that blessing before that father passed along. And I think that's still indicative of today. We as men, as people in general, not just men, but what we do is we look at our mothers and our father and they give us a sense of identity. And then what we do is we expound on that identity as we become older. But between those adolescent years, those late teenage years going into early adulthood, like you can see it when you look at, our children that are around that age. A a lot of them start to give the image, the impression that they are still trying to figure life out. In essence, what they're saying is that I don't really have a good, clear understanding of who I am. Now, transitioning, moving from the lack of a self image, right? Because that's you start looking at self. Self is broken down into four concepts, right? You got self knowledge, you have self esteem, you have self concept, and you have self image. So the less I know about who I am, it drives what I understand my self concept to be. Well, my self concept literally drives my self esteem. And in essence, I'm sorry, I said it wrong. I said self image. It's social self. And in essence, all of that helps me to become social. Well, when I start talking about my image, it's not what I see about me, it's what I think you see in me. And so what you'll find is that we start moving based upon our perceptions of what other people see in us.
Absolutely, because that's why it's so important to get yourself established where you can create your own vision for yourself and know that you're right where you're supposed to be, regardless of anybody else's opinion. Matter of fact, you want to all the whole having your own bag concept is that you don't have to go get approval from nobody else. You can go do
Right.
whatever you do and then let everybody else witness it. You know, I used to say when I was powerlifting, I didn't need a spotter, I needed a witness because I already knew it was going back up, whatever it was. You know what I'm saying? So this is no different. You can participate or take pictures. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
can participate or spectate, baby. You know what I'm saying? So, but you only get that type of energy when you put yourself through something, you've persevered and accomplished something. And that's why I always go back to you have to be good at something. You have to get out and go accomplish something so you could put the imagery associated with the talent. Like, you don't see, you remember when skateboarders used to be like shunned? It was like, it's faddish, it's whatever. You know what I'm saying? Now you see X Games. You know what I'm saying? And they have their own style of they have their own like extreme sport Olympics, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? It's a culture. So it doesn't matter what kind of shoes they wear. So what, they all wear Vans. They skateboard
Yeah.
professionally or they do something professionally. They created the space where their imagery is relevant to what it is that they do. And that's part of the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
culture is how you do the same thing other people do. You know what I'm saying? Other people spend money with each other, but the culture, it shows how you spend money with each other. You
Right.
know, some people barter and trade, but like the way that they do business is going to be a completely different language, which is code, by the way.
And EJ, you the baby. You the only one
All
here
right, you see these gray
still
hairs right
in.
here, bro?
Hey, but hey, you still in your 30s. You know, we're all in our 40s. So what say you? You know, you may have a little different perspective, or maybe even a similar perspective. You know, being from
um,
a few years younger than us.
I would just speak from my like personal experience because my father played a big role in my image. I would say all the way back. I remember probably from the age 5, I had a whole routine that I had to go through after getting out the shower, lotion up, put on my cologne, iron my clothes. My dad was big on self-image. In elementary school, I was getting compliments from the teacher. Oh, you smell good. Oh, you look good. So I think it matters, and your environment would definitely dictate, how you wear your clothes. But keep it clean, keep it nice, keep it neat, smell good, brush your teeth, wear deodorant. It's the little things, to
The
be honest
basic.
with you. It's the
Hmm.
basic little things. And your environment would dictate whether you put on a suit, whether you have on slacks. Right now, I do a lot of training, so I wear a lot of training clothes. But when I'm in the school, I'm wearing my nice clothes, my collar shirt, or when I'm meeting with people, that type of stuff. So your environment would dictate that. But you can change up your wardrobe, but stay clean. That's what I have to say about that. Keep it clean. Iron your clothes, deodorant, like I said, brush your teeth, all the little things. It's the small things.
But you notice what you just said, right? You
Yeah.
said, I'm a coach, so I wear I wear this stuff because that's what I need. But when I'm in the school system, I'm wearing my collared shirt. I'm doing this because that's what the environment is requiring of you at that particular point in time. And
Mhm.
you started it off the perfect way. My father was real big at this, and real big about this. And I think, and again, I want to make sure I'm saying this because again, I think the idea is that we help our children have healthy images of themselves
Yeah.
based upon the amount of energy that we put into them. So if we're putting the right type of positive energy about into them, like you're saying, take care of yourself, brush your teeth, wash your clothes, do all that stuff. Like, don't ever leave the house without taking a shower.
Nope.
Boy, what I'm saying? I'm just
It
saying.
wasn't happening in my house.
Absolutely. Those things are important. Vic hit the nail on the head. He brought culture into the discussion. Now we're talking about a whole world view of how we see ourselves. You see what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with seeing yourself through the lens of your culture. Here's what I do not get the right to do, though. I don't get the right to force it on you. So if we come from two different cultures, what we should do is become curious about each other's culture. Why? Because that's the world view in which you see yourself. I want to see you the way you see you, not the way history taught me to see you, not the way somebody was talking about you down the hall and around the corner. You see what I'm saying? And so when we start talking about that image is a powerful term that you brought to the table, Uncle Junior, because I'm telling you, when you look at it from the big picture, it starts when we're kids, wearing Pampers, sucking on the bottle, things of that nature, and how you were raised. Don't do this, don't do that, do this. You can be anything you want to be. Just make sure that you always respect yourself. Never put your hands on a young lady. You know what I'm saying? Always treat them with respect and dignity. That follows forward with you in your adulthood. So all of these things matter.
Antoine,
Sir.
you always talk about the relationship that you have with your brothers and your father. So I'm sure, there was some conversations. So I feel like there were some conversations had in your house as far as image and men's image and how you're supposed to portray yourself. Do you feel like there's a certain image that men should have as they progress through the different stages of life?
Yeah, I'll go with what EJ said. My father was very strict on us growing up, especially because he came from the islands, right? So we had to go through we had a month of etiquette school because he didn't want us speaking like no shit. He said, "You're gonna speak like this. You're gonna know how to eat with a fork, knife." Because you come from the island, everything's a spoon. Everything's a spoon, right? So we have to go through etiquette school, and then we have to perfect our French, and then we have to dress nice, smell nice. I think I was like growing up. I think I was one of the only ones in high school with cologne on, right? Because even when I was leaving the house in elementary school, my mother would dab something on my right here, and I go, "What the hell you doing, Mama? Gonna smell funny," right? So I think like if you're it encompasses what everybody's saying. If you're in a job, depending on the environment of the job, right? And you have to conform to that job and do what that job requires you to do, and whatever their dress code is. And you have to respect that. There's a certain level of respect. And I think even when listen, you could just wear a pair of jeans and a t-shirt, but how does the jeans look? How does the t-shirt look? It's got to look clean. I'm not saying go and iron your t-shirt, but it's got to look like it came folded. And it's very important today, especially with vanity playing such a big role in society today, right? Because people judge you off the look. That's why social media, people just judge you based on a look, right? You don't walk up to people anymore. You have to look like you smell good, because everything is online or pictures and all that stuff. So it's very important how you conduct yourself in school as well. Like I've seen, I'm not saying everybody that I've seen in school dressing to code, as Vic would say, but it's very important your image that you want to portray and how you're looked upon, because you only have one time to make a first impression. So and for my father, it was very important for us to lose that accent. He didn't want it. He said, "Nah, you ain't gonna have that. You guys are gonna be all better than me. You're gonna speak better than me. You're gonna know about a fork, knives, all the utensils. You're right. You're gonna know why you tuck in a shirt." He was very strict on that stuff. He was not letting it down, right? So we had to be very careful how we conducted ourselves around him. Even if we talk slightly, look at us like, "What kind of French is that? Like, where'd you get that from?" No, right? So he.
Yeah, I know Vic got something to say about this. It's probably, I think it's probably the same thing I caught. Go ahead, Vic.
So, did I hear your father try to throw your culture away?
Yeah, that's the same thing that I was hearing.
What I knew you was gonna say that. I
He
knew it.
didn't throw my culture away.
Not
He
to
didn't throw-
have with the accent. So I
No, he wasn't. He didn't throw our culture away. He just wanted us to form a proper sentence. He didn't want us talking like Cardi B or something like that. He wanted us to come in with grammar. He said, he didn't. He goes, I didn't raise you in the streets. You're not going to talk like you're in the streets, right? My father made sure of that. He made sure that when people walk in, they didn't see my color. They heard me.
But this is the thing though. You weren't from the streets anyway, right?
No, but we weren't exactly in a rich neighborhood. We weren't exactly in a rich neighborhood, right? But he didn't want us to talk like the neighborhood. He made sure we spoke properly. He made sure we knew the difference between they and they.
I think you can do that without throwing away the accent.
You can't.
Really?
I mean, man, to talk from the islands compared to talking, I mean, it's different. It's just different.
I mean,
right?
I don't see anything unprofessional about people with accents.
It's not unprofessional, but people with accents still learn how to, when you're in etiquette school, you still learn how to talk a proper sentence with your accent. I'm not talking about accents. I'm talking about forming sentences.
So, Antoine, what would be a proper sentence? My family is from Haiti, and my parents still have accents. Like majority of the generation before me, they all have accents. I was born here, so I don't have an accent.
You know the difference between street talk, and you can't take street talk into a hospital to talk. You'll have to explain it properly, right? You'll have to learn tone. You'll have to learn how to get your message across properly. You'll have to learn to speak with your hands when you need your hands. You'll have to. These are things you learn that he wanted us to know, right? He didn't want us to come home with the slang. He didn't want that at all, right? And he wanted us to make sure our French was totally different from our English, So it was important to him. And it's about how you form a sentence.
Do you think it's ever that there's ever a time to where slang is appropriate versus just getting rid of it altogether?
If you're around your boys and you're watching a movie, sure, you can have that fun, but he just didn't want it to be raised like that. He didn't want us to talk to him like that. He didn't want us to hear. He didn't want to hear it. He wasn't having it, And he's like, my father really beat into us. You're as good as the company you keep. I don't want to see no bad company around my kids. And to this day, none of us smoked, drank, did all that crap. We didn't do any of that. I didn't even know what alcohol was till I was around 18, 19, right? I didn't taste that shit. I didn't even know what it was. I was like, what is this, beer? Okay, let me try it. Same with my brothers. So, I mean, it all depends on the environment you're in, right? And that was important to him. He really, really, really wanted that. And that's why he sent us to etiquette school, because he really wanted to know what a knife and fork is, where it belongs on a table, what cup goes next to what cup. He never made us drink in plastic cups. He didn't even know what that was. I was like, plastic? Oh shit, that's cool. I didn't know what that was. I mean, we had it, but it's not like my mother could have set it on the dinner table.
I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna let Vic speak. Honestly, this is the first time I've ever met anybody who's been to etiquette school.
Really?
So everything that you're saying is 100% new information to me.
Wow.
I don't have, like I said, I'm 46. I've never met any man or woman that's been to etiquette school.
Yeah, this is cool. You can take classes online. I mean, it's
Go
just
ahead,
knowing, it's just knowing certain things to do that separate you from the rest. And it was important for us to know that. I mean, that's the way he looked at it like that, right?
Do you think etiquette school benefited you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Very much.
Do you have any real world experience where?
Yeah. I went to a black tie event. There was freaking 14 spoons on front of me, and I'm like, what the heck is this? But I didn't know. I was like, Jesus Christmas. What's that tiny one for? Well, that's for your tea. What's the one before that? That's if you drink coffee. Holy shit, really? Wow. Okay, that was new. I mean, I was like, that's the knife you use for the butter. I didn't know anything like that. My father, my father used to have these. My father used to fix jet engines, right? Before he retired, he used to fix jet engines. So they had this gallon. You're allowed to bring your kids and everything like that, and kids standing over there and all that. But I was looking at that going like, wow, I was very impressed. And it actually inspired me. It actually inspired me, you know? It's like, and then, you know, it's even like for women, there's being feminine and then there's being elegant. Elegant is reaching with the pinky, picking up with the index. Elegant is carrying your purse with an L. Elegant is you don't have the V, you have the L. Elegant is putting the shirt between your legs before you sit down. I was like, whoa, that's cool. Right? I was like, okay, this is new.
Can I go back to the etiquette school, please?
I didn't know anything about that.
I'm on board with what he is saying about the etiquette school, because I would tell you, Garfield, I don't know about you, but I actually went to etiquette school as well. It's actually called the Army. When it comes down to military balls, there are certain things that you do.
Yeah.
Nobody sat down until the commander said,
man, always saving it.
No,
hey, man.
What's the thing? It's true.
Captain Save Antoine. Free Antoine.
I didn't know. What's the name, you know? I was putting cologne all over the place. Little did I know you put it on your impulses. I was like, Dad, really? Because you don't waste it in areas. No, you put it on the places where your pulses are. Shit like that. Like there was a lot, dude. There was more stuff that I didn't even know. You know, like, yeah. And you know, how do you sit up on a chair if you're in an interview? You know, how do you conduct certain things with certain people that are at certain levels in life? What they look for? Why you wear a blue suit to an interview instead of a black one? Why women shouldn't wear skirts in a certain area? I didn't know anything like that, but it was important. I learned a lot, and I'm grateful for it. I'll probably put my kid in the same thing and make sure he knows it too. I think I'll pass that on, you know, but I'm grateful for it. I can recognize it. I can recognize if a woman knows how to be elegant or if she knows just to be a feminine. There's different levels, you know.
We need to put
I would want that in a woman. You know,
this ain't about women.
No, but I'm just saying in general. I'm just saying that in general.
I'm just saying, man. Like,
but you can drop me in a black tie event, and I'll know exactly when to wear a bow tie and when to wear a tie. I mean, you know, when to wear cufflinks.
Why they give you all those utensils? You just eating.
Exactly. That's just it. But if you go to a black tie event, that's how it is. There's a 7-course meal.
So is it for show or are you?
No, there's a 7-course.
Hungry?
No, there's a 7-course meal. Each meal requires a certain utensil you use. That's it. Each meal requires dessert. That's the dessert spoon.
I feel like there's levels to this stuff.
So if it tastes good, can you lick your fingers?
You don't lick. See, that's it. You don't lick your fingers. And you know what?
I'm joking, man. I'm joking. Come on.
Like in etiquette school, they tell listen. I'm being honest. In etiquette school, you don't finish all the soup. In etiquette school,
why not? What if you're hungry?
You ask for more, right? And you push it away with your right hand, not your left. Because why? Because the waiter picks it up from the right. He picks it up from your right shoulder. So you don't push it. You don't push it away so he crosses over you. You push it to the side that he's going to receive it. That's why he walks around that way. Stuff like that. It was very insightful. You know,
at some point, does it become a perishable skill? You know what I'm saying?
No, it's always going to be around.
Yeah,
it's always going to be around. If you go to a board meeting, right? They put if you go to a proper board meeting, they put the pad down with the pencil crossing this way. So it's at 11 o'clock before 12. Why? Because they're assuming the majority of people are right-handed. So it's crossed that way. I mean, these are, and you'll notice that, but people don't pay attention to that stuff because they just sit down and see a paper in front of them, right?
No, they just log into Zoom.
Well, let's just say
all of that. That ain't about productivity, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? When you want customs and courtesies and have a standard, somebody got to sit down and do it. I'm just interested in listening to, you know what I'm saying, Antoine give us his etiquette school experience.
Not mine. You asked me.
Because I'm trying to put myself in the frame of mind. Like,
how old were you?
Yeah, we used to be in the Army. I was say basic training stories, AIT stories, and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm trying to have a relatable understanding because, you definitely get taught etiquette while you're in the military. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was 16.
I was in high school, 16, when I could understand what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. You know, I was 16. So when I was 16, it was about a month. I went to it every Sunday or Saturday. I remember it was such a long time ago, but I think it was every Saturday for an hour. And then at the end to graduation, you had to sit down at a dinner table and make sure you knew everything, like the full 12 o'clock, full clock, because everything worked on a clock. So you had to learn each one at 11, 12, 1, 3. You have to know it by the end. And then I wasn't as good as my brother. My brother was top T in that shit. I was like, God damn, okay.
What's the concept of messing the spoons up?
It's not messing the spoons up. It's just knowing which one is for which. Not messing the spoons up. Just know that you don't take a dessert spoon to eat soup.
So he's saying, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. It's not about messing the spoon. Listen, it's not skills that you would. It's not something that you would. It's not something that you would. You take it with you as knowledge. So if you're put in the environment, you know how to execute it. That's all. That's all it is.
It's just familiarization, pretty much.
Yeah, because you know what? The elite people that know shit will look at you and go, he knows what he's doing, right? Because you can sit at a long table and a host that puts those 7 spoons out will look to see if you know what you're doing, right? So it's the same thing.
I've seen.
So what?
I know.
So what
if you?
Go ahead. I'll let y'all go ahead.
I've seen people get the right type of acknowledgement by wearing the right watch. So I understand.
Yeah, and the watch is important, and that's why they have different watches for different activities, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I mean, they design watches for different activities.
You got watch etiquette. You're supposed to wear it on your opposite hand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the left side, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that's it. Like there's all that sort of stuff, Like you don't put chains on both hands. Your chain's not supposed to drop an inch lower than from your pit of the neck to there. It's supposed to be perfectly round so it sits on your collarbone. If you want to know if a shirt fits right, if it's up here on the curve of your neck, it's wrong. It's supposed to be down here so the perfume, so the cologne that you have beats outwards from up. I mean, shit like that. I was like, okay, I didn't know any of that. But it makes sense, right? That's why, you see people that have cologne spots on their shirt. You ever see that? They have these little stain spots on their collar.
I don't look at nobody's neck.
Well, you see, that's what I'm saying. These are the things I would notice. Like I look at you and I go,
really?
You're kind of too high there.
Hey, do Coach Dwayne got any spots on his polo over there?
Well, but he's wearing it right. He's got the third button.
I wish he would.
He's wearing it right, though. He's got the third button.
You know what, Antoine? I'm not going front. Again, my dad was one for that, and I learned how to spray cologne on. My dad was big on here, on the wrist here.
Yeah.
A lot of my quote unquote etiquette, that's what you want to call. I just call it, rules that my dad gave me for life, and I just kind of follow those rules.
But I'll tell you
I guess
what,
it would fit in that etiquette.
But EJ, I'll tell you what. Islanders are very high on etiquette. They're very high on etiquette, right? They have a time schedule that they eat at. They have a time schedule when they put the bread out. They're very, like, if you're ethnic, they're very high on that.
Island boy.
I would think is a culture thing.
It's culture.
Yeah. They're very respectful of that, and so that's what my father wanted. So I'm like, all right, I couldn't, argue with the man.
That's the example of what I was talking about. It's like everybody sits down to eats dinner. You know what I'm saying? How they sit down to eat dinner is what culture is. So the way it's done, the methodology. So I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you got the standard and presentation and certain I guess objectives to be met, for lack of better terms. I get it. I just like seeing how those experiences have transitive value.
They really do.
I love it.
Do you know if you shake somebody's hand and you pat them on the shoulder, that's a sense of power. You're telling them you're over them, right? And if you notice, Obama did that a lot. When he shook your hand, he always patted you with the other hand because that's a sense of power, right? If you shake it both hands at the same time, when you shake and you put your other one, that's more of an appreciation for what you did. Like you're thankful, so you're like 2 hands on top, shit like that. Like all these little tiny little nuances, you're like, oh, I didn't know that,
Go ahead, Coach.
No, I was saying that I agree. So again, I want to go back. So it's all about respectful. So again, we have to be very conscious whenever we make culture specific statements because the implication is that those outside of that culture have no clue of it. You see what I'm saying? And I know that's not what you meant, or I know that's not what you're saying, but other people can perceive it that way. And so I get it, because I have several friends. I've had several friends over the years who are islanders, and so I understand precisely what you're talking about. And what I would say, I gotta kind of lean off of what EJ said. Yeah, what he was taught, that is a form of etiquette as well. You know, you just don't reach across a person's plate and grab what you want from the side of the table. You see what I'm saying? So you have more formalized training, and then you have informal training as well.
Right.
That doesn't mean one is better than the other.
No.
That just means that one had a different opportunity than the other had. But both experiences are valuable. And so that's kind of like what I was talking about when I was talking about culture. Culture becomes the lens in which you see the world through. Therefore, that helps you to better understand who I am, my image, how I see myself. And also, the way that you respond to me becomes a more clearer picture, and it validates what I think I know of me, or it devalues it one way or the other. So when we look at certain things, and I'm loving the conversation about the table etiquette, because the point that I was bringing in with the military was a form of formal, table etiquette as well, especially when we did military balls, black tie event, right?
Yeah.
So we would
There you
show
go.
up and we had to have a rehearsal. And that rehearsal, it was like, okay, so look, this is what we do then. When you come through the receiving line, you don't shake this person's hand. I need you to understand that right now. That person will not, if you reach out to shake that person's hand, that person will not acknowledge you. They're not trying to be mean or anything of that nature. That's not that person's job. Their job is just to announce you and your significant other. And then you move forward in the receiving line, and then you shake the next person's hand, and then the next person's hand. Those are the guests, or the guests and the guest of honor.
Awards
So when we
presentation.
start, second,
Yeah, presentation, awards presentation etiquette, all the way down to it.
yeah, that's another.
It's another one.
Example.
Yeah.
Getting more back to what Antoine is saying, even when you're sitting at the table, right? What goes where? You start talking forks and spoons and things of that nature. The wine that you have on the table, it's not for guzzling, it's for toasting. You see what I'm saying? I'm just being honest. And so
you're bringing back memories. You're right.
Absolutely. Those are, so again, I think when we look at the big picture, right? The big picture is that all of these things equate to, like Uncle Junior brought to the table, all of these things equate to our images. Now, I think Vic brought a great point to the table. How are these things, right? How does it translate? How is it transitive? How does it translate into who I am today? Well, it becomes a point of confidence, I believe, right? That's just my opinion. I believe it becomes a point of confidence. Hypothetically speaking, let's just say Antoine meet this young lady, and she is a CEO of a company, and she invites him to that black tie event. Now, he is super confident that I can go there and I can fit in. Why? Because I know the etiquette. For, a person who's never been through that form of, never went through etiquette training or etiquette class or anything of that nature, in their mind, they're going to start to experience some degree of anxiety. They're going to probably try to find a way to get out. I'm a little busy. I ain't going to be able to make it, things of that nature. And so that's just a small piece of his identity, though. You see what I'm saying? Same thing, just like you made a mention of award ceremony. You go and you get an award from the mayor, of Killeen. Killeen got a mayor. I didn't know if it was Killeen, and I don't know if it's the county, whatever. So you go get an award from the mayor. You already have formalized training on how to receive award. Take the award, hold it between, reach up under and shake his hand, and look in the camera and smile at the same time. So both of you are looking at the camera, the award is facing, and you're gripping at the same time. So you already have that. So that becomes a vote of confidence that's in your head that I belong in these environments. And I think that's really what it boils down to.
And like Coach was saying, I think like you guys coming from the Army, you already have a certain level of discipline that the average man doesn't have. That's just the way it is. You were trained to like that. You were trained to listen. You were trained to do things differently than me, as far as discipline and, hey, how do you put up with all that? Be in the Army,
Absolutely.
buddy. You have to be in the Army. You do this. I'm like, really? Like, yeah, you couldn't just go off the hand. You have to You know, and that's a discipline that the average person's not walking around with.
Well,
So
Antoine, to keep I'm gonna hit the next topic, or the next question, but it's also kind of coming from where we was kind of sort of always talking about. So do you think, and then after this, after you go, I definitely want to hear from EJ,
Okay.
because I know he got to roll out shortly. Is a man's image tied to his success?
Yes and no. And I'll say yes and no in this way. So let's just say, in order for him to have success, he's got to dress the part, right? Because nobody's really going to pay attention to him even if he's in scrubs, right? I mean, he's not going to be successful. That means he's at a certain level. He's probably going to stay at that level, right? If he owns a company, that's different. He can set the standard, but he owns a company. But if he's coming up, he doesn't own a company, he's got to dress the part to be the part. And in order to do that, yeah, it's tied to your success, because you can either be stuck in the mailroom looking the way you look, or you can conform, move up, and go to the levels of where you want to go. That's how I look at it.
Honestly, I agree with Antoine. You know, you definitely have to look the part. And if you're doing business, you know, you're a business owner, you have to do business with people, and your image matters. The guy holding up the sign on the street corner is not dressed the same as the guy that owns the business. So I think it matters, because if you look at the guys on the street corner, they have a certain image, right? And the first thing you see, you're gonna create a perspective of what you think that person behaves like, or what their lifestyle is like, just off that image. So if somebody's owning a business or running a business or working in corporate America, you kind of expect a certain image. And let's just be real, that's just how our world works.
Yeah. And I, and I want to say something. It's unfortunate because some people really can't. They're really good at what they do, but because they're so stubborn about changing their look and how it would make them look, they trap themselves into the box, right? Because I'm telling you, if I own a company, you're gonna dress the way I want you to dress. I don't care about the law. I don't care. You're gonna dress the way my companies run. If you don't want to, no problem. There's 15 other people down the street that will take that job. But if I own the company, I'm gonna set the standards. Like Vic sets the standards to how he wants to conduct business. Now, if Vic was going to go visit somebody that has a giant real estate property on 25,000 acres, he's going to show up in a suit for that man, because the man's going to demand it, because I got to take him serious. This guy's like in suits. So I'm going to sit down in that board meeting and go, I can get rid of that property for you. How expect? I mean, they're going to listen to it, right?
I want to hear you, Vic.
EJ saw it too. He saw the mic on me.
He did not agree.
8 men are not going to be in a suit, and you're walking in with a t-shirt to look at you and go, "Oh,
let's hear what he got to say." Let's hear what he say.
I mean, you got to think. 8 men are not going to be in a business suit. You walk into a t-shirt, they're not going to go.
Stop. You don't do real estate down here.
No, so, I'm just saying, like from here.
No.
Wait, let me just put a box in there. Let me make it clear on this.
You've already talked.
Wait, let me say this. The guys that sell a house.
Wait.
The guys that wait.
Another 10 minutes.
No, this is 2 seconds. The guys that sell a house. The guys that sell a house are different from the guys that sell a mansion. That's their way it is. That's all I'm gonna say.
That might be relative to, you know what I'm saying, where you are, and I can understand that. But it's not like that here, because if you haven't been in the Central Texas area, these folks wear flip-flops and jeans and cowboy boots and drive big-ass trucks, bro. They don't.
But generally speaking, though.
Like the Mexican American folks down, the Texicans, they pulling up in Matador suit. You see what I'm saying? Like, again, success is tied to imagery. You know what success is? When you could go in the boardroom wearing a sweatsuit and they there to see you. You know what I'm saying? Like today,
you're not gonna get it. First of all, they don't know you. You're not getting.
I'm not done talking, Antoine. I'm telling you from real work. I'm giving you real life experience. Even today, the store owner that I do business with, where I lease out my property, he said, "Vic, I need to go do some development on my other property." He said, "Do you have anybody that can do construction?" I said, "Of course, I got a construction team." You know what I'm saying? So, and you know what I had on? This. He didn't have to see me in a suit. He already know my resume. Do you know what else that he saw?
What?
He saw my ability to fuse people together and ideas.
I already knew you.
It's not just because he knows me. He
did, because if he didn't know you, and he didn't
I'm trying to tell you my reality. Don't try to tell me what.
I'm not telling you reality. I'm just saying in general.
That's exactly what you're doing, and I'm trying to tell you a firsthand experience, and you still trying to take mine away. You're in California.
No, it's not about being. He already knew you. Tell me a story that somebody doesn't know you. How about that?
No, that's the only one I can go off of. I can't tell nobody.
Exactly.
I'm telling you an authentic story as a real estate investor.
No, and I'm believing your story, but you're going off of something
No, Antoine, I'm trying to tell you a first-hand authentic story. You keep interrupting me.
But you and I are telling two different stories.
Can you please mute your mic? Because he just asked me to talk, and then you the one keep interrupting.
All right.
So my point being is that I'm dealing with a man that owns a bunch of property. He's already saw what I do. You know what I'm saying? It didn't matter what I had on. Eventually, it comes down to execution and what it looks like, and the ability to drive interest to somebody that makes you look like someone that you want to invest in. You see what I'm saying? Nobody goes and gets an overweight physical trainer. It doesn't matter what they did before. You know what I'm saying? Nobody goes to go get somebody to detail cars that has never detailed a car. You don't go get the guy that don't do nothing but change alternators to go change windows and glass. You don't go looking for him for that. At some point, you go to what makes your business have an enhanced experience. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes an enhanced experience doesn't come in a suit, doesn't require a suit. Sometimes you go get somebody that's completely left field to enhance what you do. You know what I'm saying? So no, I don't always buy off on that, because I can only speak on my personal experience as the person that will be part of somebody else's story and say, hey, I saw a guy come in here with $80,000 worth of jewelry and some sweatsuits, and he said, I want to go do some commercial development. And I can say I did that. You see what I'm saying? I've commercialized residential property, you know what I'm saying, that sold for more than what people's primary houses cost in the hood. So I look like my environment, you know what I'm saying? So I'm successful based off of that. And regardless, if you don't have a comparable experience, you can't take mine away.
Again, I'll say it again.
I'm not asking for a rebuttal. I'm just speaking on mine.
I'm not giving you a rebuttal. I'm just telling you, and I'll say it again. That's great for the people you know. If the person doesn't know you, you have to dress the part. That's all.
What do you think, Coach?
If the person doesn't know you, you have to dress the part. Because if I have 25,000 worth of acres and I'm saying, show up at this boardroom and tell me how you're going to get rid of it, and every man I know in that boardroom is going to be wearing a suit, you ain't walking and convincing me that you're going to walk into a boardroom full of 8 men that's never known you before. You're going to walk in with t-shirts and sweats and go, yeah, I can get rid of it because I got rid of Tom, Dick, and Harry's land over there. It looks at you like, and this guy is who?
They already know why I'm there.
They're not going to give you that opportunity to present yourself because, first of all, you disrespected them on how you showed up, for one. You did respected them because they're telling you this. It's like this. Look, I have to sell something. I don't usually. I'm saying I don't usually do an
alternative scenario. You
don't. No, let me tell you a fact. I don't usually. I'm not a suit. Okay, I don't have a suit, right? I really don't wear suits in my business, right? But I have to do, and I don't do portraits of people. I do portraits of celebrities. So here it is. My manager says, Antoine, I want you to do a portrait of this businessman. I'm like, okay, cool, let's do it. He goes, but we don't make money because I can't make prints of it. It's just one of one. He goes, but he knows people. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, let's do it. He goes, here's the thing. If we go meet him, you got to wear a suit. I'm like, for what? I'm drawing. I'm the artist. He goes, well, he's that type of man. I'm like, really?
And that's relative to what you do.
I said, really? You want me to go get a suit just for one guy? Trust me, Antoine, let's go. So I had to go and get a suit. When I sat down with the man, I realized why he said I had to wear a suit. Because the man acknowledged me in the suit. He goes, man, you're well dressed for an artist. I like that. Right there, I go, oh, freak me out. That's why he won. He knew the environment I was going to be in. But if I would have showed up like an artist, I wouldn't have gotten the gig.
And that's the difference between an artist and somebody that deals with the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if it all depends on if the man knows you or not. If now I could show up in front of him and be Antoine, I can be like I drew for him already, so it's cool. He understands where I'm coming from. But I couldn't do that in the initial meeting. It would be disrespectful, and I wouldn't have gotten it. And that's why he told me in advance, put a suit on. That's all.
All things.
What you got, Coach? All things are true.
Absolutely, they're both right. I hate to say it, you can't like Vic said, you can't take his experience. He is 100% correct about how he maneuvers within his environment. It's
Right.
success works for him, and it's true. I also know real estate agents and brokers and things of that nature that actually move. They don't move unless they're like, I mean, suit, tie, the women business suit, whatever the case may be. And when they go after those big deals, when they go after those commercial property deals, oh yeah, trust me, they're I mean decked from head to toe. So I think both of them are right. You know what I'm saying? I'm familiar with Central Texas. I've lived there for like better than 10 years. Never done any real estate in there. So Vic is the subject matter expert on real estate in Central Texas. And I mean, barring anybody else's experience, I know I don't have any. Um, but then by that same token, I agree with Antoine as well. A lot of times, first impressions is really the thing that gets us a deal. And when we start talking about different personality traits, especially when you start coming across these D personalities, you got about 3 to 5 seconds to get their attention. And within that 3 to 5 seconds, if you look the part and you talk the part, you get the part. And that's generally how it works. Again, different environment, different setting, different arena. So I think I agree with both of them. I think both of them are absolutely correct.
I I work in the elementary school, and we were talking about the dress code the other day, and I was like, seems like things are getting a little bit more lax, because we usually do jeans on Fridays, and now, a couple times a week, people starting to wear a little bit more jeans. The standards are becoming a little bit more laxed. And then some lady was like, man, this is weird. It's like when I lived in Texas, we wore jeans and boots every single day. You know what I mean? So to Vic's point is that demographics can play a huge part in, the image. You know what I mean? And the walks of life and the spaces that we socialize in, the spaces that we play in, So I was like, man, I don't mind. I wouldn't mind being in Texas, being able to wear jeans and boots to work every day. Man, please.
It's like a uniform. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They put jeans and flip flops on billboards to advertise it. They want you to know they're costing that we wear jeans and flip flops to work.
I would add to that as well. I would add to that a pair of jeans, a polo shirt, and a sports coat. That's a suit.
It is.
I have literally seen it. Only thing they do is put on the sports coat, and I really don't like. And this is just me. I really don't like that. We're talking about an environment. That's what I want to make sure I'm pointing out. It's not when I say they, I'm talking about any group. It's an environment. In this great state of Texas, a pair of jeans, a polo shirt, and a sports coat, you're ready. You are ready to go to any meeting.
How much was J.R. Ewing worth on Dallas back in the day? Y'all know. And none of y'all grandmas used to watch that show.
Of course,
Mama did.
My mama didn't watch it. My grandma watched it. And then J.R. Ewing, that dude was worth a whole bunch of money. That dude had stayed with a cowboy hat on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and I'm sure he was rubbing noses with the millionaires of the millionaires, with the big dogs. So
I think at the end of the day, it's all about competence too. I mean, of course, that first image will get you through the door, but are you competent? Like Vic said, he has a track record. And Antoine, you have a track record. You got yourself through the door. If you're competent, you'll keep the job, and people will want to figure out who you are. And then you can kind of not necessarily let loose. I'm myself all the time. I do like to dress up. That's just my thing. Sometimes I like to dress up. Sometimes I like to dress down. But then you can be your authentic self and then start to connect with people and make some deals.
I had a mohawk with a $30,000 chain working on in an intelligence cell in Afghanistan. Like I had a ridiculously large mohawk, and nobody close to me because I do work. Oh, I got some pictures too.
I forgot you had the mohawk.
I had a huge mohawk, and I did the work.
You were long hair in the army or something like that. It had to be a certain thing.
No, he was out then.
I was out there. I was a contractor. I could do what I wanted to do.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying? Within reason, you know what I'm saying? Like, there was still a dress code. There was like, some people would probably be attracted to my necklace, but they couldn't tell me I couldn't wear it out because somebody else was wearing their religious symbols displayed. You know what I'm saying? I just knew my boundaries.
Right.
So
Mm.
I believe that. I think, like you said, environment and where you are dictates a lot. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think so, but I think that people today, I mean, vanity is such a big part today, man. Jeez, that's why when I forgot her name last week, whatever her name was, the one that had 4 kids, when she was talking to me, and
Julia.
and she said something about give me some skin. I'm like, who the hell are you talking to like that? Like, is that like English? Like, I was totally lost, right? I didn't know what she meant, and then when she explained, I'm like. That's why I asked her, what environment would you use that language? Like, where would you use that?
When you speaking in code around,
Yeah, like, I'm like, where would you
so,
do that? Because if you're talking to a guy that makes over 100,000 and he's got his shit together, he's looking at you like, excuse me, ho? You talking to who?
But here's the deal. Here's the deal. If that man traveled or have traveled in those circles and he a millionaire, he know exactly what she talking about. Right. Even if he got on a suit, and he's like, I know exactly what she talking about.
Right. And what came out of her mouth would dictate the level of woman she's speaking about. Yeah.
Sometimes it's code.
Right. It could be.
Sometimes code, people use code but because they don't want code. Code is meant to sometimes. It's for people to communicate, but it's also used so people can't understand.
Right.
And sometimes it's used so people can understand on purpose. So.
Right.
And you said that before. When is the appropriate time to use like slang talk?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
Like, whoa. Like it would.
People miss a lot of opportunities when they don't understand the dialect of wherever they're trying to do business at.
Dialect. I think that's a better term.
Because see, here's the thing: Americans are the only people that can leave their country and get mad when they go some other place where they don't speak English. We'll go to Italy or Korea and be like, y'all don't speak English?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You laughing because you know I'm dead serious. You know,
no, you're absolutely right.
Because the entitlement is this.
Entitlement.
We think that people are supposed to look the way that makes us comfortable. And the audacity is that you don't even try to learn their culture to understand how they communicate. And you automatically, in a lazy way, just say they need to look in a way that makes me comfortable. The audacity.
Yeah.
Audacity.
Yeah.
Like,
that is crazy.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So like in the absence of discipline and understanding, people put audacity as the vehicle for communication. You know what I'm saying? That's why like, everybody has the perfect rule when they don't like something, instead of just shutting up and probably paying attention to what's going on around them.
I like that one. So, hey, look, last question of the night. Something that we all, if you are a person who self-reflects on a regular basis, then you probably can relate to this question. The question is, when it comes to your own image, what is one thing you continue to work on? Now, I will let anyone who wants to start.
I'll answer that. And Garfield, sometimes we never really work out together, but I see, what you do. But as far as my own self-image, I like working out, and my goal is to stay healthy as I continue to get older. So that's something I continue to work on. Because me personally, I feel like as I work out, when I put on the clothes, it looks that much better.
Yeah.
So I will continue to work on my health. That's something I will always continue to work on, because it doesn't matter. Sometimes for me personally, it doesn't matter the clothes that you have on if you're not healthy. Honestly.
I agree with that. Yeah.
You want to continue, Antoine? You can go next.
Yeah, I would say, I'm going to piggyback on that. Like I'm only 5'6", right? So I don't have much to work with, right? So I really put an emphasis into my body, like how I look present-wise, right? Because I'm at a certain age in my life where I'm not going to get that gut. I'm going to hang on to my 6-pack as long as I can. I'm going to keep my teeth as white as I can for as long as I can. I'm going to keep my hair in check for as long as I have. These are the 3 things, because I don't have much to work with, right? So as much as they say height and looks goes out the window when you're standing on your wallet, I'm still short when I'm standing on mine, goddammit.
You're the only one that says that, Antoine.
But that's the truth. That's the truth.
Right.
Right? That's how I mean, that's what I agree with that health thing 100%.
So when it comes to your image, you continue, like EJ, continue to work on your health.
Yeah.
And fitness.
My
and
fitness,
personal appearance.
Personal appearance, how I look, how I smell. Yes, I will because you know there is a smell. You know, and it's funny because a doctor told me this once. As you get older, you know, your skin flakes off your body and all that, and then you get that old man smell. you do. You get that old man smell. I don't want that old man smell.
What does the old man smell,
You have to let Coach respond. You should have saw his face. You'll see when you edit. You know what his face.
You know what an old man smells like.
Coach, I want to hear what you have to say.
How you know what an old man smells like? When somebody's been sitting on a chair a long time and they get off and you're like, what the? That's the old man smell. That's the old man smell.
I can't relate. I'm
just
you got bad sit down air.
No, I'm just saying, you never smelled an old man. Like if you're sitting down and you're like, and it's just got that. It's got that damp. It's like that damp smell. It's like that musty damp. It's like the old
smell right now.
You know what I mean? It's like I got it. It's like a towel. It's like a towel you used that's wet. You put it in the corner, right, and it doesn't air out. And then when you finally dries on the surface, you open it up and it's got that. Whoa, that's the old man smell.
That's too intimate.
Like mildew. You said old man smell like mildew.
It's not mildew. It's like a folded smell in a closet. Yeah,
Bruh,
that's it.
All I heard was Antoine be sniffing seat cushions. That's all I heard just now.
Sorry.
I couldn't get past that.
Help me out, Coach. You guys know what I'm talking about.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
Antoine, I want a first-hand experience of when an old man got up and you smelled them.
Okay.
I've never experienced it.
It's like
in church.
It's like a dingy smell. It's like they got that old cologne on. Like it's like they leave the room and you can still smell them when you walk in. It's like he was
gray
here.
flannel and Hofston Z14.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like that. You know, like when you have
mothballs.
Mothballs.
I think Coach got some Z. I think Coach got some Hofston over there.
They know what I'm talking about. He's laughing because he knows. EJ.
Hey, whatever it is I wear, bro.
Yes, mothballs.
Well, that's all I can say. I'm like EJ, bro. I don't leave the house unless I'm smelling good. It's a must, not musk, but must.
A must.
No mothballs for Coach.
No mothballs.
No balls.
Hey, Coach, what's one thing you continue to work on, and then we're gonna wrap up with Vic.
Hey, so I gotta agree with both, you know, what EJ and Antoine said, and I know it's the same for you. You know, gotta keep the physical fitness up. We talked about it on our show. Keep the physical fitness up to keep the diseases down. You know what I'm saying? That's real big in our community. So you have to be conscious of that. But if I could add to that, one of the things I am focused on constantly is energy. I am constantly focusing on keeping my energy up because life happens. You understand what I'm saying? And just like I said today, I came here, I had this going on, I had that going, I was busy, then I had to run to this scene because this happened. And I came here, I was like, man, it would have been too easy to climb in that bed, man, just take a nap. But you know what? I made a commitment and I'm gonna honor that commitment and I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna show up with high energy. You know what I'm saying? So if you notice in the beginning, I started having those conversations, right? So like, yeah, what, you know, let's get into it. And I think that's, for me, I think that's important. Because sometimes what we do,
that's actually a good one.
You know, the day has, I mean, if we're honest, the day has a way of beating you down if you let it. So you have to be conscious of your energy levels. And, you know, just like, you know, it said in the Bible, you know, David encouraged himself. Don't be afraid to encourage yourself. Call somebody that you know is encouraging. Me and Uncle Junior been on the phone a couple of times this weekend, sitting there comparing our schedules. It's like, man, I got a whole bunch going on. So I call him because I know he got a whole bunch going on. Why? If I hear that he got a whole bunch going on, that makes me feel a whole lot better about all that I got going on. So sometimes that's what we got to do. You know what I'm saying? Encourage yourself. And if you're struggling with that, call a friend. You know what I'm saying? Like that old game show, phone a friend. Talk to them. And here's the other part.
Yeah.
The other side to that, there's nothing wrong with checking up on our friends as well. So that's the thing. Being intentional about my energy level and being intentional about checking up on people that you know, love, and care about. Vic, you added to the phone. Now I got your number, bro. EJ, hit me up. I need your number so I can check on you. Because I done been on your site. I done checked you out. I done heard your podcast. I'm just letting you know. So that's what I do. Yeah, man. EJ is a smooth brother.
EJ, send it to me. EJ, send me that podcast. Send me your channel. I didn't know about that actually.
Check out the link at the bottom, EJ's Gym, and a guide to elevate your mindset at ejsgym.com.
EJ, type it in the comments, EJ. Type it in the comments.
He's right there at the scroll. I got you, Antoine.
Yeah. But what I like about what he does, right, is like he talks about certain things, but he also talks about some of the workouts that he do as well. And I know one of the ones I listened to, you talked about something that you do at the end of your workouts. And so I was like, man, I love it. So yeah, that's what we do. That's another way of keeping my energy out.
Coach, I want that energy, man. I didn't think of that one. Energy, yeah, you're right.
That's what we do. And that's why I go and look at the great work that other people are doing, because that's another way of keeping my energy up. Vic, I got to check your show out. I haven't yet, but I will, I promise.
Yeah, I got to check Vic's show out too. That's another one. That's another channel I got to put that one too. Put that one in.
Hey, before you go, Vic, we ain't seen the book all show.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna. You know what? I wouldn't want you to say nothing because I'm like, Vic.
Pretty early. Y'all don't be paying me no attention. You know what I'm saying? You wait till the year before. I was up here just talking.
I was going in and out. Why can't I see it clear like before? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, because you're impatient. You talk too much. So, like, what? To add on to close out, I think what keeps me focused is the fact that I wrote my own code. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a choice. Like, I can't get lost. I wrote my own book. You know what I'm saying? It's the maze. It's the blueprint to my mind of how I think. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I could always go back and reference something that I've written as a previous experience because I lived something that produced the literature, you know what I'm saying, that focuses me, you know what I'm saying, that balances me. Now, you can create an echo chamber out of anything, you know what I'm saying? But how many times have we lost a thought when we were in the shower, in the bathroom, in the car, the phone rings, text message, whatever? Journaling is a good place to capture your energy back too, you know what I'm saying? Like, whether it's a note. And that's why I'm so active on social media, believe it or not, because my brain has so many things that it's trying to grasp a hold of and sync up with something else. I'm constantly trying to synthesize my efforts. I don't just do something just to do it. You know what I'm saying? I do something to see if it can accelerate something else that I've already got in motion. You know, like EJ talks about training kids with autism and stuff and mixing in the hand-eye coordination piece. You know what I'm saying? He's been getting the hand-eye coordination lesson firsthand, you know what I'm saying, before he got his degree. Which degrees do you have right now, EJ, or certification, rather?
Sociology, and I'm finishing up my master's in special education.
Okay,
wow.
so how does
that, man? Congrats, bro.
I appreciate it.
So how does the sociology piece play into the special education?
Just understanding behavior and people and how they move, and everybody has wants and needs, and if you figure that part out, you can basically get anybody to do anything.
Yep. And in an army, we call that providing purpose, direction, and motivation to accomplish a task. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you got to get your purpose from somewhere. It's got to come off an experience. The motivation and that leads to the acceleration of an idea comes from actually knowing that you've accomplished something and then being able to integrate the lessons learned from those experiences. You know what I'm saying? Everything has transitive property, which goes back to the energy piece that Coach brought up before. The energy piece is vital, because if you come in with a negative mindset, you're basically saying that you don't want to win. You know what I'm saying? You're prepared to fail. You know, like, I stopped saying try, because the word try gives you excuses at some point when it doesn't come out. I think if you come in with perfect intention, you know what I'm saying, results may vary, but the intention has to be perfect. But if you come in with the words try, you're already being disingenuous to your own self.
That's key right there. I like that.
So I think that if you come in with the mindset to execute, and all the other words and intangible tasks that have to get done will follow. Implied tasks become primary tasks at some point. So even when you're down, and if you've been on the road to success, and you've been 1 or 2 plays away, and then when you actually accomplished it, you are in familiar territory. You know what I'm saying? Where you know something dope is about to happen because you put the work in. You know what I'm saying? On something else. This is no different. So I think that if you mix the energy piece from what Coach was talking about, the intangible experience that is not always written down, not always graded, you know what I'm saying, on paper, and make sure that you have introspective moments, because when you work with people, you have to work on yourself to be solid for them. You don't get to be trash. You don't get to be neglectful on yourself, because you can't even be the best version of yourself. You know what I'm saying? And let me say this too. This isn't even the thing that any of us are good at right now.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Conversation. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's gonna look at this and think that we got it all figured out, but they don't even know. We're just speaking on personal experience and fumbling through it. We're winging it. You know what I'm saying? But the reason we're able to wing it is because we're good at other things. You know what I'm saying? And when you're good at something, you protect it and you make other people respect it.
I learn something new every time I leave this channel. So far, I mean, I could imagine what other people are on the outside. For me personally, every time I leave this dialogue, this conversation, I learn something. I reflect. I don't even need to look back at it. I just know what I've learned at the time I've learned it. When Vic may talk, Garfield may throw a dime in there once in a while, Coach, EJ, I just learned something. Like, oh shit, you know what? It's true. I never thought about it like that. You know? And I'm really grateful for that. And I look forward to when we talk.
Elevated dialogue.
Exactly. And you know what I love about it is that we're solution based. You know, we really think about the questions we're asking and what goes into it when we're answering. You know, we just don't throw it out there as to the wind and let caution take it. You know what I mean? We don't do that. I like that.
There you go, Antoine.
EJ, let me ask you.
Hold on, Antoine. Let me finish with mine.
Okay.
So as far as my image, one of the things I'm working on is just being present. And what I mean by being present is being in the moment. You know, if I'm having a conversation in face-to-face with someone, I'm not constantly picking up my phone, because how they view me goes into my image. You know what I mean? And how I'm perceived by other people. It's important, but it's not important. It's important at a certain level. Not that I take too much stock in it or anything, but I don't want to be the person who, man, every time I talk to Uncle Junior, he always on his phone. I can't even, have a conversation with him. He's always too busy. His mind is already somewhere else. So the big thing that I'm working on right now when it comes to my image is the image that I'm presenting to other people when I'm in front of them and when I'm in their space, because not along with the fitness and stuff like that, but kind of goes back to EJ, is that what type of energy am I going to be presenting if I'm not even there in the conversation? You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of sort of where I'm at right now. Folks.
EJ, is that your thing? You're passionate about kids?
I'm just passionate about helping people and just being a former athlete and coaching. I just found ways to help people through fitness. Because when I work with kids, it's like a mentoring thing that goes on too. I mean, if you ever coach, you know that you don't just train a kid and send them away. You have to teach them about life and what they're doing, and teach them that they're more than just an athlete. This is just something that you're doing at the moment. But this doesn't define who you are. So I think it's important for coaches, trainers, teachers, or anybody interacting with kids outside of your own, or even when you interact with your kids, that you let them know is different. Is they have different skills that can translate over through being an athlete and different things like that, communicating with people and learning fitness is just important. It's important. I think everybody should know that. I just found out I just found out that the kids in the high school here, they only get PE for 1 year. I don't think that's cool.
That's crazy.
That's outrageous.
Let me ask you, do you think the transition is good that happens when they go pro, from the time they get drafted to go pro? Do you think the transition, the program they have in, because they don't really teach the kids about, like, these kids are 19, 20, 21, whatever, when they go pro, right? Do you think that transition area right there is I didn't think so either. Okay.
I think it more. It depends. It depends on the staff, but a lot of kids
in general, though,
they get exploited, man.
Okay,
They get
that's what I mean.
exploited, and it's a money thing. You know,
Yeah.
the kid can make the school money. You know, they bring the kid on, they give him a scholarship, blah 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 blah. But in some cases, you know, you have coaches who really care about kids. And in some cases, these kids just kind of get shoot through a system. You know what I mean? And they go through their whole lives just being athletes, and they don't never really recognize who they are. They don't get a chance to stop.
Wow. Interesting. How sad is that?
Oh, that's sad. That's why I think it's important to give them that foundation when they're young, to know that, okay, this is just a game. I'm just doing it for the time being. What's next? Like, after I finish playing this game, I am somebody else.
Wow, that's really unfortunate, you know, because they got all this money, and they just, some of them make the biggest mistakes, and you're like wondering, how the hell do you make that mistake? But then you think, okay, they didn't get that little sit down, you know, that schooling or that stuff like that.
It's a support system they go through. It's not, like after you hit a certain level, it's about teams. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I think there should, that you said it there, right there. I think there should be a like, okay, because I know they don't really pay attention to their scores and all that in school. They more want them to be on the field. But it's sad that there's no program in place to say, okay, this is how, you know, moving forward. You know what I mean? Like, that's
I don't think that was ever their goal. Their goal is to make money. The goal is to entertain. At this point, the goal is just to entertain. And I don't know how much athletes really pay attention to that. Their goal is to entertain and make.
They're 21 years old.
Big business.
They're 20s. They in it. Like, what the hell did we pay attention to in our 20s?
We didn't know.
You didn't know.
Our brains weren't even developed yet.
That's what I'm saying. So imagine asking an athlete with millions of dollars in their 20s that's been coddled. They haven't been structured to be, you know what I'm saying, 9 to 5 employees of corporate nothing. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say they had everything handed for them, but they had a talent that made their life a little bit more privileged than people that weren't.
Wow.
No, that's very true.
Unfortunately, there's no program in place for that.
And I've been around athletes, and honestly, if you're really good, you live a privileged lifestyle.
Yep.
You know, people want to do things for you because they hopefully
it's
want,
an investment.
To bring something back. It is an investment.
That's crazy stuff right there. Hey, before we roll out, I want to take I got you on, put you on the hot seat, Coach. In the military, we had this thing called a kit bag, and every once in a while, we was like, "Hey man, you need to drop some knowledge, drop something in my kit bag." So it's like, "Hey man, I got a little tool for you to add to your kit bag." So, the Uncle Junior Network, Elevated Dialogue, everybody on the show, I like to take about 30 seconds to a minute for Coach Dwayne Dwyer to give us one little small nugget from his tool bag that he can give to us.
Ooh, I like that.
Wow. I was not prepared for this, by the way.
Of course not. That's why it's the hot seat.
Oh man. Everybody has a fear, right? I don't care who you are. There's something that you fear. Only thing you have to do is think into it. That fear manifests itself at some shape of point in your belief system, which makes it limited. So we call it a limiting belief system. The question that I have, for everybody to consider, what is the fear that you have? That one fear. And I'm not talking about just like a fear of heights, because just understand to have a fear of height, that doesn't move me forward in life, right? But what is the thing that you fear that prevents you from achieving the thing that you want in life? How does it manifest itself in your belief system, right? And what are the ways that you can come up with to defeat that limiting belief system? So that's my thing, and that's what I've been focused on and helping people. It's really what I told my class today. That was their exercise for them to be better leaders. What is the thing that prevents you from being the most dynamic leader that you can ever imagine, right? That fear. And then how does it manifest itself in your belief system? which your belief system will be expressed through what we call self-concept. I mentioned it earlier, right? And then how do you go back and change your perception of that fear so that you can increase that belief system to erase the limits off of it?
Man, I like it right there.
That was a good one.
It was good, right?
Yeah, that was good.
Hey, thank you all for taking your time out to support the Uncle Junior Network, Elevated Dialogue, and myself. I appreciate all you guys for being here today and being on the panel. Anybody who's watching, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit that notification button. All our information will be in the description, and we out this joint.